Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and guess what? It's up and running, 323-870-3857 if you want to call or ask questions. Let's get it started here. ESPN, the main event, Xander Zayas versus Damian Sosa. The main event, that's right. You know what? I can feel your judgment, and I don't care. That was the fight. That was the main event. That was the main event. Like it or not, that was the main event. All right, it is what it is. There you go. Xander Zayas, it was an easy fight for Xander Zayas, who won every single minute of every single round in a shutout decision over Damian Sosa, 190 Beeb on all cards. Now, look, Xander Zayas is 20-0, 12 knockouts, right? We've watched him come up. Top Rank picked him up when he was 16, 17 years old? Something
like 17 years old, I think.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. Like, you never see that, you know, and they picked him up. This kid looks like the goods. I mean, we've watched him. They've as far as his career goes, they've matched him pretty well. And he's had good fighters in front of him, and he's beat every one of them. Realistically, at 20-0 with 12 KOs, how far is he away from an actual title shot, or at least stepping up that opposition to some contenders, like top-tier contenders?
I would say he's 2 fights away from a kind of like a mid-level contender, and then probably 5 fights away from a world title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so that much? You think he's really that far behind? But now the competition at 154 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a deep division. So you think 5 fights, what's that, 2 years? 2 years.
I would say about 2 years.
About 2 years, right? So yeah, I think that's about right. Because he's only 20, he'll be like about 22. Right?
Yeah.
I think he's a good fighter, but again, there's nothing that just jumps out at me about him. I don't think he's like a phenom type guy. He's not. Wow. He's not a very dynamic guy.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you can see like when Fernando Vargas was coming up, that guy was really good.
Different kind of guy.
He was
Trinidad,
beating up men. At 17, 18 years old, this guy was beating up men.
Yeah.
You know? So you could tell some fighters are just ahead of their years. I'm not so sure if Xander Zayas at this point is ahead of his years in terms of ability and experience. I think he's a good fighter, but will he be a world champion? Yeah, probably at some point, but will he be like an all-time elite guy? Like
the Puerto Rican star is what we're looking for. Is he the next guy?
Yeah. Is he like a
is he a Benitez? Is he Cotto?
Is he a Trinidad? Is he a Cotto? No. And I've said this before, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way.
Yeah.
I think he's a good fighter, but I don't know if he's next level good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. And I guess we're not going to know, but they do. I tell you, unless we get him in there against somebody with some kind of substance. And I think that's my biggest issue with him, is that you want to see him, he's winning fights easy, like real easy. Let's step up his competition a little bit. And I know they have. Listen, man, I know they have. The problem is this guy's pretty good, Well,
when they don't fast track somebody, then they know, look what they did to Big Baby Anderson. They were kind of slow tracking him a little bit, and they wanted to continue to slow track him. But Turki Al-Sheikh offered him that McCauley fight for big money, and he took it. And look what happened. So
I'll tell you what, let me tell you this. Jared Anderson, with all his hype, everything behind him, should have been able to go out there and beat Martin Bakole. He should have been favored in that fight. He should have won that fight.
He was favored to win the fight.
Right. But the point is, he wasn't good enough to beat Martin Bakole.
Yeah.
And that's where, you kind of wonder behind the scenes, was that the conversation? Bob said in an interview with Maestro that shout out to Maestro Boxing. Yeah.
He told him not to take the fight.
Wow.
Didn't want to take the fight. He advised him to not take the fight. He didn't tell him, well, you can't take the fight, but he advised him to not take it. So
yeah. They know what they're doing over there, man. They really do. At Top Rank, man, they know what they're doing. Tony Yayo says, is he better than Zhu Shiming? Yeah, I would say so. Well, didn't Zhu win 2 gold medals, 2 Olympic gold medals for China?
2? I know he won 1. I can't remember.
I know he won 1.
He may have won 2. I can't remember. He may have won 2.
Somebody in the chat, hit me with that. Zhu Shiming, I believe he won 2.
I could look it up, but I don't.
And I thought Lomachenko won 2 also.
I think he only won 1. Vasily. I'll double check him.
Let me see here. Let me see if we can find it. Yeah, he won bronze in 04, gold in 08, and 12. Wow, that was Zhu Shiming. So yeah, he won.
So he won 2 gold medals, but
he won 3 medals: the bronze and 2 golds. D-Style, thank you so much, my friend. He says Riyadh season is destroying the, quote, building fighter marriage, which I believe is a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. Put it that way. I don't think it's a bad thing, because it's kind of like you either going to sink or you're going to swim, man. It's, that's it. How about
so Lomachenko did win 2 gold medals as well. You're right.
Yeah, I thought so.
2008, 2012,
right? He was only
I couldn't remember. It was the 08 Olympics in China and the 2012 Olympics in London. Yeah. And I don't really follow the Olympics that much anymore, but
yeah. Now I remember Rasheed Warren from Cincinnati. He went to 3 Olympics, came up empty on all of them, but still, you figure going to 3 Olympics, that's
it's not easy to get on the team.
That ain't light work.
Yeah, so he won 2. I know Clarissa Shields, she won 2, I believe, as well.
She won 2. Yeah, she did win 2.
So but winning two is a really big accomplishment.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely. Very big, man. Let me tell you what, just getting in the Olympics for any country is a big accomplishment.
It is.
Period.
Most definitely is.
Those are the best of the best, man. D-Style, thank you so much. He said Loma was 2-time gold and 2-time MVP of the Olympics. Wow.
Didn't know that either.
Now, didn't Roy Jones win MVP of the Olympic or MVP of the boxing?
What's that title? What's it called? The Val. What's that title?
What is that title?
Val Bacher.
Something like that.
Let me see what that title. I think it's called the Val.
D-Style says fighter of the tournament or whatever. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but Roy Jones won that. Was the only guy I think in history that won that award without winning the medal. Coming up short. Which clearly,
so it's called the Val Barker Trophy.
Yeah,
is presented every 4 years to the most outstanding boxer at the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
it's called the Val Barker Trophy.
Yeah, they absolutely knew they screwed him, and that was even when you watch that fight, you can go back and look at the fight and say he lost every single round. I mean,
he didn't win that fight.
That guy didn't win. Any round, any minute. Roy Jones was killing that dude, man. The Val Venus Award. Stop it. What's the matter with you?
Please.
Been watching that Vinnie Mac documentary.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
You got to check it out, right?
I don't know why these guys sit down and agree to do these documentaries.
I know, right?
When Michael Jordan did The Last Dance, everyone walked away from that thinking he was an asshole, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Now everyone thinks Vince is an asshole, right? A lot of people did before, but now everyone thinks he is because this thing makes him look horrible. So I don't know why these guys agree to do these things.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it.
No, I mean, yeah, man. It's Raffaele said that The Asian guy congratulated Jones too. Yeah, he did. He said backstage. Roy asked him, went up to him point blank, asked him, "Do you think you won the fight?" He said no. What else can you do? That's not his fault. Was he not going to do? Not keep it? You know what I mean? Hey, they said he won. He won. But hey, what can you do? It's not his fault, man. The whole country, D-Style said the whole country apologized to him. I do remember that. Yeah. It was bad, though. It was bad.
Probably one of the worst decisions. Floyd Mayweather got a bad decision in his Olympics, too. A lot of people thought he won his fight.
It wasn't as bad as Roy Jones, though.
No, not as bad as that.
No way.
And a lot of people don't think AJ won. A lot of people don't think
who did he fight in his last?
I think he fought an Italian guy, and a lot of people thought that the Italian guy won.
Huh.
Even Teddy Atlas thought that the Italian guy won, I think.
Well, there you go. Then I'm siding with Teddy Atlas because that's how we do on this show. He is like the measuring stick. You know what I mean?
Measuring stick on the worst.
No, that's not what I meant at all.
If you have similarities to Teddy Atlas's style, then that means you're on the wrong track.
No, that means you're on the right track.
He's sitting there talking about the Dubois Joshua fight, and
Teddy said so, son. There it is.
He's like, "Oh, this was a battle of skill versus will." He's like, Dubois won because he had more will than Joshua. No, he actually fought a better tactical fight than Joshua. That's why he won the fight.
Well, he's talking about the intricacies that maybe you don't know much about.
Yeah, you take the intricacies and stick them where the sun don't shine. How's that? I got your intricacies right here, buddy.
So rude. Such a Boston.
There's a reason why they blackballed him. There's a reason why they blackballed him from the sport, and they're making him do little side gigs at ESPN.
He's got the #1 podcast.
He's fetching the coffees for the guys at the UFC broadcast. Hey, Teddy, we're taking a little commercial break here. Want to go?
Okay.
Want to go fetch the coffees for us, please?
All right, hang on. Here we go. This is a good one. All right.
Yeah, he got disqualified. That was bullshit.
So, Roy Jones in the Olympics or Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield won. What was worse? Worst decision?
Roy Jones.
You think so?
Yeah.
I gave Holyfield like 2 rounds in that fight.
Yeah, but you compare them pros and amateurs, though.
They were both one-sided.
Yeah.
And that was for all the marbles. Like the entire crowd saw it.
Well,
like
Roy Jones pitched a shutout, right?
Okay. All right. You're right. Right.
Holyfield won at least 3 rounds.
2, I would say 2. He won the 3rd round. I believe he may have won a later round. I think I may have only gave him 1 or 2.
I can't remember if I gave him 2 or 3 rounds.
It was he definitely won the 3rd round, but that was it. I don't know that he won too much.
I don't remember I can't remember if I gave him 2 or 3 rounds. Because I'm about to say if I gave him 3 rounds, then I would only have to give him 2 more to make it but I can't justify it. I can't even.
You can't. Yeah, I know. I can't. I can't either. All right, let's talk about the co-main event on this card. This was good. Bruce Carrington versus Sulaiman Segawa. Beeb, I got it right here on the title. Beeb said, and I quote, "Bruce Carrington beats any featherweight right now." You said this after the fight.
No.
So let's talk about that fight first. All right.
No creative control on this show. Whatever the titles are, I have no say. I was at a really low point in my life when Robbie brought me over here, and I had to sign a contract that gave me nothing.
Real low point.
Right? I signed a contract where I have no creative control.
Sure.
I have no input on titles.
No.
So I can't even fight this defamation with this title.
No.
Can't even fight it.
Not even a little bit. That's right. But you did say this. I
don't even think Carrington won the fight.
You said that Carrington beats any featherweight right now. And, you said, hey, even Inoue, a weight class down. I don't think he beats Inoue. But, hey, what do I know?
Please.
Carrington wins a majority decision over Segawa by the scores of 95, 95, 97, 93 twice. I had the fight scored a draw.
A lot of people had it a draw.
I had it 95 up, man.
think Mark Kriegel had it a draw as well.
Oh,
you know what it was? I'll tell you what it was.
You know what? I'll tell you what it was for me. I watched the fight with the sound off. I didn't want to hear Kriegel or any of the other idiots talk. But what about you?
So for me, I like 7 and 8 were real close rounds, and I think most people gave 7 and 8 to Carrington. I gave it to Segawa, and those rounds could have gone either way. So if I flip those 2 rounds, then I actually have Carrington winning, right? But I just thought Segawa was outworking Carrington. And the thing was I think Carrington was trying to, and Bradley brought this up. He made a good point. He was trying to feint his way in. And when Segawa wasn't falling for the feints, he wasn't biting on the feints, he became a little hesitant. And while he was being hesitant, Segawa was coming forward.
Yeah.
And he was throwing punches. And I thought Segawa did some good body work on the inside. And one thing he did too was, he would throw his jab. He would throw his right jab, but then when he stepped forward, he would hook off his jab. And I think he surprised Carrington with that right hook on a few occasions. The sneaky left hand down the pike was very effective as well. But, I think because he came with a varied attack himself, he was changing levels pretty well. Even he was able to be the counterpuncher a little bit here too, because when Carrington did decide to come forward, he walked into a couple counter left hands himself. So I thought Carrington had some moments though. He did take the initiative and he kind of put his foot on the gas a little bit and stepped in hard behind his jab. And he started to say to himself, I got to jab my way in. I can't feint my way in because he's not falling for the feints.
Yeah. So
then he started doubling up the jab a little bit and becoming a little bit more aggressive. And in those moments, he did start to have some success. I think though Segawa was a little bit more physical and had some more control on the inside than Carrington did. I thought when they were up close, I thought Segawa was kind of manhandling Carrington a little bit, pushing him back, and making him feel a bit uncomfortable in there. And I think that he had to create space and he had to get some distance. He felt more comfortable on the outside and throwing the long punches from the outside. He didn't really look like he was comfortable fighting this fight at close quarters, and that's where I thought Segawa really started to shine, and that's where I thought he was letting his hands go up close, where Carrington was trying to keep pushing off and trying to kind of spin out of those inside clinches and stuff. And once he got deep in the pocket, he was trying to turn him and spin out of there. He didn't want to stay there very long, whereas Segawa felt very comfortable in there, and he had no problems exchanging punches. So I think that this was a difficult fight for both men, and this could have been a fight that gone either way or a draw. I have no problem with the scores. 97-93, even that isn't really a crazy scorecard because 7-8, 12 was close. There's a lot of those
closer rounds. You could go either way.
Round 10 was close. The final round. So again, this was a very tough fight to score, and I have no problem with the scorecards. It's a great learning experience.
Yeah, I thought he was good. I thought both fighters did well. I'd like to see both fighters again. Yeah. I don't want to see a rematch, but I mean, I could see both fighters again. I think the decision probably went the right way. I mean, again, man,
can't complain about it. I can't
complain about it. It wasn't a robbery, put it that way. I mean, I don't think you can really say anybody was robbed there.
Yeah, I had it 6-4 for Segawa. So.
Yeah, I had it even. So I had Carrington behind coming down the stretch.
Yeah,
and he had to win the last two. I think I gave him the last two on my card to pull out a draw. So.
Who'd you guys have in the chat? Let us know how you scored in the chat.
Yeah, everything I read, a lot of people were saying that they had Segawa winning and Carrington lost that fight. But I'm thinking, it's 10 rounds, and when I watched them, I'm like, Carrington got a few of the first half of the fight, was split. I think, and the second half of the fight coming down was also split.
Yeah.
Yeah, he outlanded Segawa by 9 in round 9. Segawa outlanded in round 9. Yeah, there we go.
Again, I go back and look at the punch stats just for curiosity, but we can't count them while we're watching the fight.
No, and you know, you kind of, I mean, it's just the rounds. I mean,
I did get a sense though. I did get a sense that Segawa was outworking him a bit, but again, they're still close rounds.
But you know, Carrington, it wasn't like Carrington was, you know, and I think that headbutt also played a big role coming down the stretch. That was big. I mean, there was a big knot on his head. So, you know, obviously, you know, he's never been in that position before. So, you know, I think this was a good learning experience for him. I really do.
Of course. It wasn't a horrible, like it wasn't a bad performance. He was just in there with a very tough guy. And this guy
was ranked number 3. He was ranked number 3, by the way. Yeah, this guy's upset the apple cart on more than one occasion. He's a spoiler, this guy. You know what's funny is that this is how deep the sport is. Segawa's not a household name. He's not even a name that comes up on this show frequently. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but the amount of talent that's out there,
especially in the featherweight
incredible.
Division. Yeah. Featherweight division's a solid division.
You know, you go look at BoxRec, and I know D-Style has made this point too when he's talking about like the women's BoxRec and the men's, like how many people are in that division versus the thousands that are in each division on, you know, the other, you know, on the men's side. And, you know, a lot of, you know, these guys get these shots, you know, and a lot of times, and you think about it, how, you know, the guys that are already there, you know, there's a lot of luck involved with that. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of skill involved in that, but it's a lot of luck in the sense of knowing the right people, having the right promoters, having the right TV, having the right, being in the right spot. It's a right time to, you know, there's a lot goes into it. So when a guy like Segawa comes in and puts on this performance, these guys, man, you're at a level where all these guys are good. That's the thing, you know.
It's good to have this fight now instead of 5-6 fights down the road and being put in there with soft touches. And then all of a sudden you're 20 fights in and now you got this fight.
Yeah.
It's good to get this fight now so you can build on this.
You want this type of fight and you want a harder opponent next time too.
Yeah.
You know,
and he was happy. He was happy that he was pushed in this fight. He thanked Segawa.
Yes.
Said, thank you for giving me a tough fight.
Exactly.
He admitted he wasn't like some of these other guys. Oh, I won every round. Like he wasn't trying to fake it. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew he was in with a tough fight. He acknowledged it. So that tells you right there, this is a kid who's willing to want to work to try and get better. Right. He's not already caught up in himself like some of these other guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can see him. He's trying to get better.
He ain't out there like Berlanga bragging that he went the distance after losing 12 rounds.
He went I went the distance.
He's out there telling everyone, this was a great performance because I didn't get knocked out. And he's making fun of Caleb Plant because Caleb Plant got knocked out. Listen, Caleb Plant won like 4 or 5 rounds in that fight, even though he got knocked out. He was in that fight before he got knocked out.
And
you were never in this fight.
By the way, Caleb Plant was taking chances in that fight.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Caleb Plant was trying to win.
He was trying to win.
That's a big difference between what him and Berlanga was doing. Big difference. Big difference.
It's what it is, man.
Yeah.
When you have self-awareness in this sport, it's a good quality to have because it enables you to learn from experience.
Qualities, yeah.
It enables you to learn from situations. And if you're delusional and you don't think something's tough when it's tough, and you don't want to get better off of a tough fight, or you don't want to work on things off of a tough fight, you think you're doing just fine the way you are, then guess what? You're going to have a lot of tough fights down the road. It's like anything else in life. You got to work hard to achieve your goals.
Well, think about this, man. You and I have watched the sport for years. How many guys have we seen come out of the Olympics or come out with a lot of fanfare from anywhere? They've just got a lot of hype on them. Yep. You know, I can name a couple right now that have just come out with a lot of hype on them and haven't really proven much, you know, and they come out there and they get into a difficult fight and they lose, or they do or whatever. And all of a sudden their career disappears because they can't take that adversity. That's a big one, man.
People look at another guy. Now that we're at it, like I don't want to like just start name dropping, but let's look at another guy, Devin Haney. He thinks he really lost that fight because of the Osterine. It's not the fact that you couldn't get out of the way of that left hook.
Boy,
Right? So then you're going to, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later, but I'll tell you what, you know what that is? That is a guy hitting rock bottom is what that is. That's exactly what that is.
Right.
Because, you know, when you're involved in a sport where you're paid to, you know, to put the hurt on the other guy. I mean, that's that, you know, at this level, that's what you're trying to win the fight, but you're trying to put the hurt on the other guy. You always want to knock out, obviously.
That's like a construction worker saying, I'm going to sue the construction company because my clothes are dirty after work. And now I have to go out and buy new clothes.
I mean,
part of the job, bro. You're going to get dirty.
When I heard this, I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And I would love to hear the other reactions of the people who read the same story or whatever. And we're going to get to it just very shortly.
We'll get to it.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that'll be our top story here. That was it for the ESPN card.
Whoa!
What'd I do? What happened?
Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan.
The chick fight. Those two broads. Yeah. By the way,
these two young ladies.
How old are they?
Women.
How old is Michaela? Like 27 or something like that? Or what is she?
Time of her life.
Yeah. She looks it.
This was a great fight. And you know, it's funny because when I look back at Michaela Mayer's other big fights, like when she was in there with Tasha Jonas more recently, and the fight with Bumgardner, those are really close fights.
Bumgardner.
And I had those fights. I had those fights draws. Some people had Bumgardner winning. Some people had Mayer winning the Jonas fight. I thought those fights were close. This was another close fight. But what made the difference in this fight to me is,
bro, she's 34. Come on, man, get out of here. Get out of here with that.
Show some respect. Sandy Ryan is a very solid fighter. Show her some respect. So get back to what I was saying before. I don't even want to say what I was, but let's just get back to the topic here. So in this fight, I thought Michaela Mayer did something different than she did in the other two fights. She kind of laid back a little bit.
She fixed dinner
and wanted to see what her opponent had. Wanted to see what Bumgardner had. Wanted to see what Tasha Jonas had. So there were no feel-out rounds in this fight from Mayer. She went right to Sandy Ryan. She fought a very aggressive fight, a very authoritative fight. She set the pace. She outworked her. When she stepped in with the jab, she stepped in with authority, and she stepped in hard and followed up with power shots. And when she got on the inside, she didn't allow Ryan to hold her. She didn't allow Ryan to pivot out. She had her hands moving. And she was landing good body shots. And again, that jab was the key to everything. I mean, that's cliche that the jab is the most important punch in boxing, but she utilized it to perfection in this fight. This jab was really effective because it was a jab that, you know, she was using. She was moving it around very well. And she was doubling up on it. And she just had no hesitation here. She just took charge of this fight and left nothing to the judges, left no stone unturned in this fight. So in my opinion, this is the best performance I've ever seen from her.
Is this someone as Marion Mannix or whatever?
Buddy, that's Sinisa Estrada. You are
I can't get people these chicks, man. I don't know.
You are so out of touch with this. Okay? Show some respect. This is their jobs, man.
Which one is making Mannix breakfast in the morning?
Well, please. Please. All right.
Which one of these two got paint thrown on her? Wasn't that the English chick, Ryan? Yeah, Sandy so Ryan. She got paint thrown on her before, but I mean, obviously before the fight, but like I guess they were going for a press conference.
Walking out of the hotel room on her way to the fight, she got the paint thrown on her.
That's messed up, man. She said she was really shaken up by that.
That's right. And there's a rumor going around that you were the one that kind of orchestrated that.
it wasn't me because I'm not really that interested. So.
But then her
I'm just
trainer,
saying,
D-Style was telling me, and I didn't see this because I watched the fight the next day, and maybe I missed this part. But I guess her trainer was saying, "You're not fighting. You're not fighting." And he ended up not being in the corner, for the fight.
Like, was he in New York?
Yes.
What a dick! Why did he do that?
He just decided it because he didn't want her to fight. And the thing is, you got a contract, right? You don't fight, you're going to get sued. What are you going to say? Oh, I can't fight because I got paint on my leg? Obviously, there's no doubt about it. It's going to throw you off. I get that.
Yeah. But
again, is it going to impair you from going into the ring? Are you physically compromised because you got paint on your leg? You know what I'm saying? So
no, but
if she
it does.
doesn't fight,
is like
it most definitely throws you off psychologically.
How would you feel? I mean, like, how would you feel?
Oh,
if
I would feel horrible.
Just,
it will bother me. But what I'm saying is, if I'm contracted to fight and I say I'm not going to fight because I got paint on my leg, and then I think Bob Arum was promoting the fight, and they decide to sue me because I'm not upholding my end of the contract, is that going to be a strong defense for me to say I couldn't go in the ring because I had paint on my leg?
No, but that's a criminal act. That's not
assault.
That's assault. That's not just a brush off thing.
No.
And it may be a brush off thing.
No, but what I'm saying is And then she goes through a training camp. I'm kind of speaking on her behalf a little bit because she goes through a training camp, right? And it's a big fight. She doesn't fight. No one gets paid. So again, you look at the big picture. Can I walk? Can I fight? I mean, she lost the fight 6-4 on my card. I thought it was a close fight, very competitive fight. I actually thought she was going to win going in because I thought she was the quicker of the two. I thought that she had a little bit more. I thought she was a little bit more elusive, and I thought Michaela was going to have a hard time pinning her down, but she didn't. So I was wrong. But with that being said, she probably was a little bit distraught going in. But even with that being said, she put on a good performance regardless. So
who do you think makes the better sandwich? Was it Mayer or come on? Wow.
Amin Khalif makes the better sandwich. How's that? Your girlfriend?
She's good. I got to be honest. She's very good. Very good at making sandwiches. You're messed up. You know that? You're just messed up. You just constantly
I had to throw that in
dump on women's boxing.
Not me.
And it just makes me sick. Makes me sick. There you go. All right. But that was a pretty good fight, huh?
It was a very good fight.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that.
Michaela was very upset you didn't watch it.
Oh, I can understand that, All right. Let's talk about the upcoming fights because that was it for this weekend. They had another chick fight on Saturday, wasn't it? In England, Terri Harper and some other broad
versus Rhiannon Dixon. That was a good fight too. Terri Harper, I thought she was going to win this fight, but Rhiannon Dixon was the kind of the power puncher in here. And at 135, I just think Terri Harper, this is the best weight for her because she's not fighting women that are too big for her. When she moved up to 147, 154, those girls are a little too big for her. But she was able to, fight at a distance here and keep her form, keep her shape from the outside. I think she was a little just too quick for Rhiannon Dixon, and she was just pot shotting it from the outside. She was landing some really, really good right hands down the pike, and she even hurt her with a couple left hooks as well. She buzzed Rhiannon Dixon in this fight, and Rhiannon Dixon was the bigger puncher, and Rhiannon Dixon buzzed her in one of the rounds, but she came back. She got back on the horse, and she just kept boxing well from the outside, kept her at the end of the long shots from the outside. And I thought she won the fight clearly, like 7-3 on my card. And
then went promptly back to doing laundry afterwards. That's messed up. You shouldn't have said that.
I mean, everyone does laundry. It's not guys do laundry too. I mean, I don't do laundry. I have Lois. Lois actually drops it off for me and picks it up.
I got my peeps doing laundry.
I don't do it.
My people doing laundry,
I don't do the laundry.
What's the matter with you? All right. October 5. Actually on October 4th. That's Friday, isn't it, Beeb?
October 4th.
It's Friday, I believe.
It's Friday.
Yeah. Friday on ESPN Plus from Sydney, Australia. So this is probably going to be an early one, I would think. I don't know, but I would think. Janibek Alimkhanuly versus Andre Mikhailovich. 12 rounds for Alim Kanuli's IBF middleweight title. I like watching Janibek. He's a good fighter. That'll be a good fight. That'll be a really good fight. October 5 in Liverpool, England. Now there's no TV per se on this one. I imagine it'll get picked up by somebody. No, Nick Ball versus Ronnie Rios. 12 rounds for Ball's WBA featherweight title. Jack Rafferty versus Henry Turner. 12 rounds for the British junior welterweight title. And that is about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a big card, but just a lot of English names off it that I don't personally recognize. But Andrew Kane versus Joshua John, I don't know. But that's it. Beeb, what's going on with this? That's it?
We got the Biddle fight October 12th. So
yeah, 2 weeks away, man.
Yes, we got that one. November, we have the Tyson fight. Is it November with Tyson? I think it's November. We have the Tyson fight.
I think so. Are you looking forward to that one?
No, but I'm actually looking forward to Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor because that first fight was really good.
You're looking forward to that one?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Really? You like women fights?
I don't like women all of the fights, but I like certain fighters. Like I like Michaela Mayer. I like Tasha Jonas. I like Terri Harper. Like all the girls that fought this weekend, they're really good fighters, so I like them.
I couldn't pick any of those guys out of a lineup.
No, you know Michaela Mayer. You've watched her fight several times. You know Alicia Baumgardner. You know Clarissa Shields.
I mean, I could pick Clarissa Shields. Clarissa. Well, I mean, I've got my picture with Clarissa Shields. However, Clarissa Shields is like the most recognizable person.
We interviewed Christina Hammer on here. You did a good job.
We did. Yes, we did. Oh, Beeb, didn't you ask her out during that interview?
I don't want to really get into that because that's between her and I. I mean,
sure.
I promised her I wouldn't talk about that stuff.
Sure.
So,
and it turns out there was nothing to talk about, was there?
Well, if you want to think that, that's fine. That's better for me.
All right, no problem.
I don't like putting my business out there. You know, it's part of my contract. I have to. Right. I can't fraternize with the people that we interview.
Part of your contract, right. Along with that creative control.
Creative control. I can't even wear certain shirts on here without getting it cleared.
Right. We got to go through everything here on Beeb
Industries. I was told I can't even wear my Tyson Fury shirts on here anymore because it shows that I'm biased.
Robert 530, you're live.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hi, Robert. What's going on?
How you doing,
Robert,
brother?
You didn't watch that Michaela Mayer fight, did you?
Not much.
No, he didn't watch that fight because he's a real man.
Yes, I did.
Doesn't he's a real man?
Yes, I did.
Real.
Yes, I did.
What?
Yes, I did. I watched that fight. It was a very good fight.
So you just like fell asleep during it and just had it on when you woke up, or what happened?
No. I watched all 10 rounds. It was a very good fight.
Wait a minute. You didn't watch 10 rounds.
Right woman won.
You didn't watch 10 rounds of that fight.
Yes.
Who do you think won the fight, Robert?
You watched 20 minutes of that fight. You didn't watch 10 rounds. This is a big difference.
Michaela Mayer won the fight clearly. She won the fight clearly.
Yeah, I thought she won.
Yeah, I can pick out Ebony Bridges too.
Yep.
I would definitely be able to pick out Ebony Bridges.
What did you think of the paint gate, Robert?
Yeah, no. I thought that whole thing was stupid. And now, granted, somebody should be arrested for doing that. I mean, that's a criminal act. But for her trainer to come out and say, okay, you got paint thrown on you. You have to change your clothes, take a shower, and the whole bit. You're not emotionally ready to fight. If you don't think the girl is emotionally capable of carrying out her job, then she shouldn't be in the sport, and you shouldn't be her trainer, if that's how you feel. I mean, Joe is absolutely right. She had to fight because she could have been sued. And remember, she's promoted by Eddie Hearn. So Matchroom could have been sued by all this also. So keep that in mind. She had to go through with the fight. It was a stupid act. I hope the person gets arrested. But her trainer was an absolute complete idiot telling her not to fight.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't necessarily think that he should have. I mean, he should have said, "Hey, I don't know that you're in the mental state to fight." But when she said, I want to go ahead and fight, that's where your job starts. That's where your opinion ends and your job starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go through it with her.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So you would have, like, if she decided that she didn't want to fight after that, you thought that would have been reasonable. I'm asking you, Eric.
She would have said herself.
Okay, say that again, Beeb. I'm sorry.
Herself,
let me ask Eric. Let me ask Eric this question, Robert.
Robert, hang on.
So if she decided that she didn't want to fight because of the pain incident, that would have been justified.
Yes, that's assault. Absolutely. If you're assaulted before a competition, absolutely. Okay. She would have been absolutely.
I can understand that argument. I just think, I myself think that it would kind of get hairy with the contract situation and stuff like that. But
well, I mean,
we'll see what I mean. You could argue that I was assaulted before the fight. I see that. I see the argument. 100%. My only thing is, I'm just curious if it would, if that would be hard to prove, like if that would hold weight if she was sued because she decided I'm pulling out of this fight and say,
no.
Yeah, so.
I wouldn't hold. I don't think it could hold weight. I mean, again, you were assaulted. You have a police report saying you were assaulted. Then yeah, absolutely. Beeb, actually, I'm sorry, Robert. Bruce Carrington. What were your thoughts on that? Did you have him winning?
No, I had that a draw, and I think it was a very good learning experience for him. And I agree with what both of you guys have said. I think Top Rank is moving him correctly. On the other hand, with Xander Zayas, it's time to step him up a little bit. He's making these fights look too easy. He suggested that he should fight somebody in the top 5. Now, because of the way the different organizations have him ranked, that's probably what they're going to have to do. But I don't know how good he actually is, because we haven't really seen him in there with anybody that could really give him any kind of test. So they're going to have to do something along those lines to see just exactly what they've got. But they've invested an awful lot in him since they signed him at 17 and he's only 20. So but it's time to sink or swim as far as he's concerned, I think. Yeah. Because, you've given him the right fight, but he's made them look awful easy. I don't know what you do in this case, but I think it is time to step him up a bit.
All right. Robert, I have to ask you before I let you go here. Ebony Bridges.
Please.
Oh, you like to talk about women boxers. I'm talking about women boxers, and now all of a sudden you have a problem with it. This is what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand.
All right, I'm gonna let you go with this.
Eric, you haven't even heard what I had to say yet.
Okay.
And you're already mouthy. All right.
Eric, listen. I'll cut you off with Ebony Bridges.
You're gonna cut me off with it. You don't even know my question.
I don't.
Let him ask the question. Let him ask the question.
I'm gonna cut you off because you don't even know the question.
All right.
You've seen Ebony Bridges, Robert, right?
Okay.
Have you? You've seen Ebony Bridges? Yep. All right. I just looked it up. Her OnlyFans.
Yes, I have.
Her OnlyFans is $15 for 30 days. Is it worth it?
Oh my God. No, I'm not into that.
What are you into, dudes?
I don't think she's.
OnlyFans is a sponsor for DAZN, like the OnlyFans logo.
Because didn't they have wasn't that Cienza chick on there? Isn't it how her and Mannix met? He was like he was sending her all that money.
Oh God, this guy's horrible.
So seriously, Robert, is it worth it or not, man?
For what?
Ebony Bridges, son. What did I just ask you? The OnlyFans, is it worth it or not? It's not worth it.
No.
You didn't like the pictures, or is there any like video on there or something like that, or is it like just her? Just
Give me a break.
How am I supposed to know? Like you're not into it.
Give me a break.
What are you looking at? Bruce Carrington's file? I mean, what are you doing? Of course, he's looking at it.
Give me a break over it.
What's the matter?
Give me a break over it.
What's the matter with you? We just had a hurricane.
All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys.
I get lost.
All right, listen up. Before we go back to the phones, all right, listen up. We're gonna start our news and rumors. Beeb, I think that's a good deal. 15 for 30. I mean, just see what it's about. You know what I mean? I can't promise anything. I bet we could totally get her on the show too. We could totally get her on the show. She likes, from what I understand, she likes what I can do. I'm just saying, you know. All right. News and rumors. Beeb, this has got to be like the train wreck of the week, the train wreck of the month, year, whatever you want to call it. This is like some sucker stuff, man. Let me tell you this. This is from TMZ. Devin Haney sues Ryan Garcia for battery and fraud. For battery and fraud. From TMZ, Devin Haney's clearly still not over how a super fight with Ryan Garcia went down earlier this year. They have confirmed that he's now suing Garcia over it. Devin Haney said the lawsuit against Ryan Garcia, he filed it in New York on Friday, alleging Garcia committed battery and fraud in the lead up to and during their April 20th fight at Barclays. Garcia won the fight, obviously, after knocking Haney down 1 billion times. But it was later ruled no contest because officials said Garcia had Ostarine in his system. Haney said if he had known Garcia had ingested the performance-enhancing drug prior to stepping in the ring, he would have agreed. He would not have agreed to the fight. Therefore, he says that he never consented to being on the wrong end of Garcia's punches. He also said, among other things, that by ingesting the banned substance, despite agreeing to fight clean, Garcia made misrepresentations that would have caused Haney to back out of the matchup as well. In addition to Garcia, Haney is also suing Golden Boy for breach of contract. In his suit, Haney is suing for damages, claiming the entire ordeal caused him, quote, physical injury, reputational damage, which will amount to millions of dollars, and emotional and mental distress. Well, you know what they say, Beeb. When the going gets tough, the tough hire lawyers. Beeb, what do you make of this whole thing?
I think it's a joke. I think it's a weak case. Battery. You signed a contract to fight. And you still haven't proven that this guy knowingly ingested the substance. Okay? That hasn't even been proven. All right? He only got punished for a year. So obviously they didn't throw the book at him, right? Because they knew or they suspected that it was possibly through contamination. That's number one. Number two, how can you say that because of this fight your value went down? How could you say that? Because this fight didn't do. You were never really a huge draw in the first place, anyways. No disrespect. So how do you gauge that you lost value? How do you project what your future earnings are going to be? Because it depends on the fighter, right? It depends on the fighter who you're going to fight. You can't just fight anybody and expect to get mega bucks. So who are you going to go out there to, like, how do you gauge all this? How does this get costed out?
Believe it or not,
put a dollar amount on all this is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad lawsuit. I'll be honest with you. From a lawsuit point of view, from a legal point of view, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. From a legal point of view, think about it. He had drugs. He didn't know he had drugs. I get it.
So
but
why?
That being said,
right,
the amount of Ostarine in his system was so minimal. All right, that's number one. And number two, the judgment didn't have anything to do whether he ingested it voluntarily or unknowingly.
Exactly.
The judgment said, you have it in your system, you got to go.
We're punishing you.
Right, which is correct. That is correct. That is the correct way to do it, because too many people will come up with that. Well, I was eating meat in Mexico, or I was eating, the contaminated cows or whatever they had, or I was taking the supplement from GNC, or any billion excuses that you could possibly have. So when you get caught with it, you should get suspended. That's it. No questions. All right. But to sue the guy after you just got ran over, dude, you got ran over. The only thing in his system was what did you say? A picogram of
Whatever it was.
offering,
Fucking
whatever
speck.
it was.
It was a speck.
Dude, the whole world watched you get run over out there.
Meanwhile,
and let me tell you what, this doesn't make it any better for you. All right, this doesn't make it any better at all.
You know what makes it even worse? Amir Khan tested positive for the same substance and was stopped by Kell Brook. So if this is such a wonder drug, then how did Amir Khan get who was favored in the fight, and he ends up getting stopped?
I mean, look, but that's the thing. I mean, and I get, the argument they're going to make is, well, different fighters, different things, everything is different. I get you. But again, man, like, why don't we just fight again?
Well, all you got to do is look at the scorecards.
That's all we got to do is say, hey, all he's got to do is say, hey, you know what? It's a no contest. Let's run it back, and we're going to figure this out.
All you got to do is look at the scorecards. Yeah. I won by majority decision. And
it was no majority decision. I mean, that was a one-sided whipping. Well, and I understand what the scorecards say, but let me tell you what. Everybody saw the outcome. Nobody could give Haney that fight.
It was a beating, but here's the thing. Because the rounds that he did lose, he got beat up in those rounds. The rounds that he won, he kind of eked them out. But at the end of the fight, I had it 6-6. What made me have Ryan winning was the knockdowns. There was 3 knockdowns in the fight. That's very substantial.
You can't come back from that. That's a hard thing to come back from.
So what I'm saying is, it wasn't like he kind of did beat you up or whatever, did he? But in terms of rounds, you won a good amount of rounds. You know what I mean? It's not like he dominated. It wasn't like AJ Dubois, where Dubois won every round and he won every minute of the fight except for 10 seconds. That's a domination. This was kind of this was a thrashing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But this was a guy in Ryan Garcia who was huffing and puffing, looking up at the clock. It wasn't his best performance either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I mean, look, man, it's a very weak thing to do.
Yeah, it's not going to make you look better.
And right. I mean, it's not, it's really
you want to talk about hurting your reputation.
This is it.
This is hurting your reputation 10 times. If you just took the loss and just said, hey, I had an off night, whatever. Yep. Think about this. Just think about this. And obviously this may be a bad comparison, but maybe not. Let's just look at this hypothetically. AJ obviously is a huge name, right? Huge name. But he loses, picks up the pieces, and probably will take the rematch. No one's saying anything bad about AJ right now. No one's complaining about it. People are we know what they're saying about AJ right now? What courage he showed, right? And if he goes and fights Dubois again, it'll be a huge event again.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because AJ took the loss, didn't complain, and says, I'm going to come back and do better. I made the mistakes. People look at that, and it's an admirable quality.
That's it.
Now, if AJ started complaining, started making up excuses, said all these things, then that would hurt him going into the rematch because people will be like, fuck this guy. I don't want to see him. But people get behind people like AJ because of the way he carries himself. Now, you think that because you lost, your reputation took a little bit of a hit. Yes, but now what you're doing is exacerbating that hit and multiplying it and making it worse with your actions after the fight. All you've done was complain, right? Since from the moment you walked out of that ring, every time you're on Twitter nonstop complaining, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody's showing any sympathy or empathy for you because you're the first guy to go on Twitter when someone loses and talk shit about them. And now you want grace. The fucking gall on this guy.
The best thing, let me tell you, the best thing this guy can do right now is hire a PR team. That's the best thing he can do. But he's not going to. You can tell he doesn't have a PR team because this nonsense wouldn't have been pulled.
The worst thing you could have done was sue this guy. I don't think he's going to win.
Oh, that's bad. It's horrible.
Worst thing you could have done.
He's got a case. I get it. Is it a winnable case? probably not.
I don't think he's going to win. Do you think he's going to win this case?
No, because you and I, listen, I mean, you and I could both defend this case easily. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Why, if this is such an easy case to win, then why haven't all the other fighters in this same situation of done this?
Yeah, I mean, really.
This is the first time this has ever happened in how many years in the sport?
This looks horrible. It's just a bad look, man. Why nobody told him, like, dude, before you do this, maybe you ought to think about this. You know what I mean? Like, you think your reputation is shot now? I mean, dude, it's a horrible look for him.
I just think it's embarrassing.
Yeah. 718, New York. You're live.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Raphael from New York.
Raphael, what's happening, man?
Man. I think the only guy that's gonna be excited about this lawsuit is Jerry from Baltimore. He's gonna be probably the only one with a heart on.
he's already busted loads in the chat right now, baby.
I know, right? Yeah.
He had to change his underwear 3 times after hearing about this one. He's a big Devin Haney pom girl.
I mean, I was right before Beeb said it. I was about to say the same thing. I mean, he's the only one damaging his own reputation at this point. That's pretty bad for him to actually try to sue. And you know what this reminds me of? You guys watched the movie? Was the movie about the rappers in LA? Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
When Ice Cube goes ahead and throws in that diss, and then Jerry Heller, says like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna sue them for anti-Semitism and all this. Is actually the rappers actually taking Jerry Heller's advice and actually trying to sue them back, which would have totally destroyed the reputation of them.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, people were saying that this is gonna be the biggest rematch in sport. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think he's thrown that out the window. And if I was Ryan Garcia, I wouldn't really even step into a rematch after this whole debacle. And we're going to see. But in terms of the weekend, one thing that I want to mention, that Shushu fight was very close. I could have given it the other way, not for Shushu, but this would kind of throw extreme caution for Inoue in case he does decide to come to the States to fight Shushu if he moves up to 126, which I have been saying for a while. I think Inoue is going to have big problems the minute that he steps on weight class. If he does fight Shushu in the States, he's gonna get robbed. If it's a close fight, he's gonna get robbed. I'm sorry. So in terms of Xander Zayas, I think Top Rank has problems converting good fighters into stars. I don't know what you guys think about that.
No, I don't think so. I think that the problem, like I said, man, they get these guys on TV, they take their time with them, and they know what kind of fighter they have. And listen, man, stars aren't just a dime a dozen, man. I mean, you gotta, they're very few and far between. There's good fighters everywhere, but there's very few stars.
I mean, what is your case for Teofimo not being a bigger star? Do you think that's on him, or some part is Top Rank?
I don't know that he is. I mean, I don't know that Teofimo is a bigger star, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Yeah, Teo.
I'll tell you the problem with Teo.
In my opinion. Teo has, he just comes off as just so unauthentic. He forces it too much. Like Tyson Fury, even Daniel Dubois, these guys, like Dubois may not be like a guy who's really flamboyant. He's not provocative when he talks. Doesn't say a lot of crazy things, but people kind of like authenticity. Like Dubois is kind of a calm, cool, collective, relaxed guy. Every now and then he'll say something funny. He'll be at a press conference. He'll slam his hand on the table. It just like for me, everything that T.O. does is like performative. And I think people see through that, bro. I think people see through that. Yeah. He's just fake to me, bro. He's a fake dude. I used to really get behind the guy, but after that Lomachenko fight, the way he acted and I find him very off-putting, to be honest with you. And I don't know if other people feel the same way that I do.
I mean, I think you may have a point. I just feel like, Top Rank hasn't really had, a big star fighter since, I want to say Pacquiao, honestly. Like a big-time fighter where you're like, wow, he's a legit star. And I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering something.
Well, keep in mind.
Last thing before I let you guys.
Let me just add this real quick. Just keep in mind that American boxing's really been in the toilet lately. So
it's not been great.
Like Lou DiBello once said this to me, and I repeat this all the time. He goes, no one's killing boxing. Boxing's killing itself. At least in America, that is.
Yeah, he's right.
Make a lot of stupid moves. So
yeah, I mean, that's to me, that's the aftershock effect of the Floyd Mayweather era, and it's just getting accentuated more with the Canelo era, where fighters are not fighting. And like we're seeing Bert Langa fucking parading around that like he did something great after not winning a round, and all of a sudden he thinks he's a star.
Exactly.
But the last thing that I just wanted to mention before I let you guys go. The people that keep bringing this stuff up with Ryan Garcia and testing positive and all this, like, I get it. I think the kid is a major asshole, and I'm not a big fan. But for people just to come and say that, that's why he lost the fight because he was on off stream.
No one believes it.
Or the main, a lot of people do. A lot of people dug their feet and say that that's the reason because Ryan tested positive.
Yeah, the good thing is most people don't. All you got to do is go on Twitter.
No, I mean,
and he's getting blasted, Haney. But you are right. Some do.
Haney, with the lawsuit now, he's getting blasted. But in terms of the him testing positive, there is kind of like that skewed amount of people that feel like they don't really know, or at least they feel like, oh well, he tested dirty. And whenever you bring up like the efficacy issues with Osterine within, failing medical trials or actual research trials showing that it hasn't actually done any type of improvements, the constant thing that you get fans say, well, why is it banned then? Well, marijuana is also banned. You got cough medicine also banned on the WADA list. You also have excessive amount of caffeine. So there are a list amount of substances that are banned on the list, and just people can't grasp their head around it because they're extremely biased towards both people. But that's my call, guys. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Raphael. We appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for, to educate those people. And believe it or not, I hate to toot my own horn, but I've actually convinced a lot of people that were on that other side that, these drugs are not all created equal.
Quick question from D-Style. Does Inoue count as a big star in Top Rank? Because he, I guess, the big star as Top Rank has in Japan. Sure. He's a big star, but he's not Top Rank's big star. He was built before Top Rank got him, I think.
Is he a crossover star? Meaning, like, that's a tough one.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is just yet.
Not a crossover.
Will he be? I don't know. But is he now? I don't think so. And he's definitely, I mean, crossover, you got to think about Pacquiao. You think about Duran. You think about guys like that. I don't think he's a crossover yet. Yeah, maybe in the future, but right now, no.
Yeah.
Right now, no. All right, let's see here. 410 from Baltimore, where I am king. 410, you're live.
410, you're live.
What's up there, lady? Make that echo off.
Get a new phone, son. Get a new phone. We can't take you. You're echoing all over the place, son. And no, that's not us. So
everyone called in and they had a perfect connection. Give them one more shot.
Jerry calls in like on cricket or something like that.
Give him another shot.
See, can you hear me?
This guy doesn't even have a phone, man.
What a douche. He's over there going ballistic in the chat. He's going ballistic. He's, let me on. I'm going to school you guys. And then we go ahead, we bring him on, and he doesn't even have a working phone. Son, maybe you need to get your priorities in order. Go pay your phone bill first. He's got a rotary cell phone. Seriously, dude. Come on, man. Come on. You can't be that inept.
What happened to his phone?
I don't know. Hey, we ought to start a chat. We ought to start like the super chats again so we can collect some money so he can pay his phone bill and call in.
Right.
All right, listen, let's get back to the news here. Triple G is going to head the Olympic Commission. Triple G has been appointed the chair of a new Olympic commission by the World Boxing, the international federation established to try to ensure that boxing remains part of the Olympic movement. Golovkin, who's now 42, is currently the president of the National Olympic Committee of Kazakhstan. So, yeah, they're going to put him in charge, and hopefully he gets enough to put it in the 2028 games in L.A. But it's not going anywhere, guys.
Not going anywhere now.
I don't think so.
Good.
I don't think so.
Very good.
So, but I tell you what, and I think that was a good move because Golovkin is a crossover star.
He is.
He's definitely a crossover star.
Everybody knows him too. He understands the amateur system. Really
absolutely. Well. Yeah. If anybody understands it, stop it. Fight
hates,
Doctor, what is wrong with you?
He hates Golovkin.
Come on, man. Oh, that's cold-blooded.
Golovkin.
Fight Doctor said with Golovkin in charge, ducking will become mandatory.
That's
he didn't
hilarious.
duck anybody. He never ducked anybody, man. Come on, stop it.
That's funny.
Stop it. What's the matter with you? And he's going right for Lomachenko next. Watch. He hates those dudes, man. He hates them.
He doesn't like Joshua. He can't stand Joshua. He doesn't like Joshua.
He doesn't like Anthony Joshua?
No, he doesn't like Joshua.
What's wrong with Anthony Joshua?
Doesn't like him.
Oh, that's messed up, man. Yeah, and look what Jerry said. You can see what these cowards do.
Call back in on a real phone line, so you don't echo.
Yeah, we just made it echo. Everybody else sounded normal.
Everyone else called in,
and
they
that
and
special
they were
effect
fine.
on. Shut up, you moron. This was a real cool story, Beeb. Ricardo Lopez and Hideyuki Ohashi had a reunion this week. After 34 years, former rivals Ricardo Finito Lopez and Hideyuki Ohashi had a reunion this week in Tokyo, Japan. Lopez beat Ohashi in 1990. That was 34 years ago, Beeb. That just, can't believe that was 34 years ago.
On Showtime.
I know, man. Lopez beat Ohashi in 1990 and then went on to have 21 straight title defenses.
Wow.
Afterwards, too, Ohashi went on to establish a gym in Tokyo and has cultivated since then 5 world champions, including Naoya Inoue. That's amazing what those two were able to accomplish, man.
Amazing.
Insane. I thought that was a good story. We never really hear story. You always hear about stories like in the first question you asked me about that was what? Is he coming back doing an exhibition or whatever? And no, I just thought it was good that they just honored these two for the fight they had and what they accomplished after that fight, what that fight brought to them both.
I
would too. I would too.
Remember HBO used to do those series? It's called Legendary Nights.
Yes.
They would do highlights.
Need to do more of those. Yeah,
they should do. They should do. See, now, even though you have these apps like The Zone and ESPN Plus and stuff, instead of having these goofball Ak and Barak shows, why don't you bring back some of that stuff?
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. And HBO and Showtime, like those little vignettes that they did.
Yeah, those are good stuff.
Much better than what they're doing now.
Stuff is
You
corny.
know, it's just real corny. Yeah, it's just real corny.
Listen to these Mark Kriegel friggin' diatribes.
Yeah, it's like you ever watch like NFL before the games start, like that pregame or whatever, and how corny it is because they got like skits in it and everything. It's like, this is just stupid, man. No, nobody. Yeah, I'm not watching that. You know. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on X at Ringside73. And guys, we will see you next week where we're going to have a big breakdown of the Bivol fight, the Bivol and Beterbiev fight. Yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. We will catch you next week.